Who has empowered this one man to have more power than you? Is it in our Constitution? Show me somewhere in the Constitution where it says one man's vote is more powerful than 7 million people. I thought this country was built on the edict of one man, one vote. How did it become one man, 7 million votes? How did this rotten, stinking creature think he has the power to throw out 7 million votes? It's clearly unconstitutional what this rat did today. And I'm going to tell you again, if your father or your grandfather died in a war in order to give you freedom, he's rolling over in his grave today because what this pig did today is steal your vote. You know, I'm going to get very emotional in a minute. I haven't yet warmed up. How the hell can you sit there and take this? How the hell can you sit there and say, oh, well, the judge ruled? I say the judge didn't rule. The judge stole your vote. The judge said 7 million people dropped dead. I am greater than you. I am Little Caesar. Now I'll go to the next step. You know, in order for a measure to achieve the status of getting onto a ballot here in California, a measure has to go through many, many legal steps. They have to prove that the measure is constitutional, and that's a good thing. If they didn't review it from a constitutional level, you could put something on the ballot initiative that says we shall deport all illegal aliens. And then people would say, well, maybe that's a good idea, or we shall do this or do that. And you say, well, is it constitutional to do that? So they had a long discussion, and it was found that this ballot initiative was constitutional. It was hard fought, and it was won fair and square. It then went to the California Supreme Court. Even the liberal California Supreme Court ruled that gay marriage shall be illegal in the state of California. So what the vermin in the ACLU did, the few radicals in the ACLU, all of whom are subversives, every member of the ACLU is a subversive. If I had the power, I would investigate the ACLU under the RICO statutes. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a tyranny. It is a tyranny of the few. It is a tyranny of the few who continue to fly in the face of everything decent about this country. They will steal your vote itself in order to push their filthy agenda down your throats. And they did so today. That's right, they did so today. One Little Caesar in a black robe named Vaughn Walker, a radical left-winger put in power by none other than George Bush Sr., has said today that 7 million people on the Supreme Court can drop dead because he's more important than them. Now, of course, this isn't the last stop on the train. It will next go to the Ninth Circuit Court of Schlemiels, all of whom are left-wingers. They belong somewhere in Romania in the 1950s rather than in the United States. No doubt the Ninth Circuit will side with Judge Walker because they're out of touch with the mainstream of this country. It will then go to the U.S. Supreme Court, and I suspect that the Supreme Court will vote 5-4 and support Proposition 8. But when you see the votes of Americans thrown out the window by a judge, do you think that's something that is good for America at a time like this? Do you think that this is going to bring people together or make people crazier than they already are? Do you actually think that there aren't people out there who are not going to go crazy because of this? Do you actually think that people can take endless insults from the ACLU and the radical deviants in the left wing until something terrible happens in this country? The left does not know when to stop. The left will not stop until the country goes up in flames. Don't give them what they want. I'll repeat that. Don't give them what they want. They want insurrection so that their man in Havana, old Obama, can declare martial law and take away all of your rights altogether.
The point I'm trying to make, sir, is that just because the majority of people believe something should be law, that does not mean that what majority says is
all right. I've heard that argument as well, so let me ask you a question. Do you think it's constitutional for one man to have more power than 7 million people? Where do you think this man's power comes from? Are you implying that he knows more than 7 million people do? He's smarter than them? He's better than them? He's more qualified than them to make a decision? That's constitutional to you? That people go to the ballot box fair and square and they vote for something and one rotten judge says your vote doesn't count? Is that your idea of what's constitutional?
Judicial activism, it all depends on one's perspective. Now,
so you're not answering the question. You're not answering the question. You're doing a side shift because that's all you're capable of. You damn well know he's a fascist, and you know that the fascists who try to take this country from us 70 years ago could never do what this man did today. You know that. They try to make sure we had no vote in this country. Why should a man go to the ballot box if he thinks it's going to be stolen tomorrow by radicals in the ACLU? Why should he follow the law if he knows the law is corrupt? And I'll tell you something else. This is very bad for the gay movement. It's going to set it back. It's going to make people very angry. People have accepted gay people, but they will not accept this. How is it that blacks who overwhelmingly vote for Obama, why is it that 9 out of 10 of them voted against gay marriage? Can you explain that to me? Why is that?
Or a judge, no, you're not. So therefore, it is.
No, wait, hold on. No. It's my show, not yours. Go back and listen to me. How is it that 9 out of 10 blacks in California who voted for Obama voted against gay marriage? Why do you think that is?
I can't tell you what the reason is, but the fact is,
No. You can tell me the reason. You don't want to tell me the reason. How is it that 7 out of 10 Hispanics voted against gay marriage? Can you explain that to me?
Because they use.
How is it that 9 out of 10 Chinese who voted against gay marriage? Are they all stupid?
Because they were following the tenets of their. Now, the problem is when you have religion and politics mixing, that is a very bad mixture. I
see. So it should only be politics and the ACLU. Religion and morality should have no place in American society. Rob, is that what you're saying? Morality and religion have to go, but statism has to stay? Whatever the judge says goes, but what God says doesn't go?
Of course, I'm saying that we need to have morality and.
You don't believe in morality. You have no idea what morality is. To you, morality comes out of the barrel of a gun. You're like all the other Marxists in the Obama administration. And I'll tell you something else. This is the worst possible thing that could have happened to this country right now. San Francisco, Kyle, you're up on the Savage Nation.
Yes, Dr. Savage. I'm one of the many gay men that are disappointed by this ruling. 7 million Californians were basically flipped the bird by this one activist judge. What I don't understand is the whole liberal mentality that if you want something, it's automatically a right. The right to health care, the right to partial birth abortion, and now the so-called right to marriage.
But it's interesting that you're calling. I don't know whether you're gay or not. It's really your business. I want to put myself on record. I've gotten in a lot of trouble with gay radicals in this country, as you well know, because I'm misunderstood. I am a sexual libertarian. I've been on record with that for years. I personally don't care what adults do in the privacy of their own home. I never have and I never will. It's not the state's right to tell people what to do in the privacy of their own home. But this is not about gay. This is about the sacred and fragile institution of marriage, which is already in trouble. Why does the radical movement need to destroy marriage, which is what this is all about? This is clearly a Marxist tactic to undermine the institution of marriage itself. I have read Karl Marx. I have read Das Kapital. I know where this is coming from.
Savage.
I have read Karl Marx. You have to understand the underpinnings of all of this gay marriage business in order to understand what is actually going on. Karl Marx wrote in his manifesto that the institution of marriage is a bourgeois institution that must be diminished, that children are property. They really don't belong to anybody, and they shouldn't be treated as property. And the thing that stood in his way the most was the family. The family was the strongest brick of civilization that had to be atomized in order for the communist agenda to be advanced. The communist agenda, if you take away the word communist, basically think of the word state-controlled. Think of Obama as a big-eared dictator who likes to get up in the morning and tell you what to do. Think of a big-eared dope who was put into power by strange individuals like George Soros, in my opinion, and other moneyed people who took money from all over the world to put a stooge in power to force the communist agenda down our throats, whether it be General Motors, being now Government Motors, whether it be Obamacare, you name it. This is all part of the socialist agenda, which you've heard 1,000 times. But what you don't understand is that the strongest brick in the struggle against them, the thing they must destroy, is marriage itself. Because if you kick out the brick of marriage, you destroy the family. Once you destroy the family, there's no unified element against the state. The state will take over every aspect of your life. You see, right now, the nasty little family has children. And the nasty little family has the right to tell children what to do and what not to do, what to eat, what not to eat. whether to smoke cigarettes or not smoke cigarettes. But Obama doesn't like that. Obama wants to dictate whether your child can have a jelly donut. Obama wants to dictate whether your child can have a beer. Your child should know only what the government wants it to know. They want to annihilate the family as a ruling entity in this country. And one of the strongest ways to do that is to undermine the institution of marriage itself. That's what this is all about, which is why most gays could care less about gay marriage. Get me on record with that. Most gay people care not an iota about marriage, not one iota. This is a small, hardcore leftist band within the gay movement that is part of the entire international movement to make the entire world a one-world government. Most people don't understand this. It's beyond the average man. All the average man and woman knew when they went to the ballot last time was, am I in favor of marriage being the way it is, or I want to redefine it so it can be anything?